Okay, so these are for external rings. These are pliers. It's kind of hard to see because it's real small, but you kind of squeeze them and it opens up that little spring that goes right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's kind of hard to see that because it's all black. So I gotta pull that out. All right, I'm gonna pull this out of here. I'm gonna clean this. Stick off the lint. Okay, and then this guy over here. This little guy right here. Not sure how I'm gonna get that guy out of there. Okay, I guess it's down. It's down like this. And it goes back in here. Goes back in here like that. Ready? Okay. Now, I'm gonna take this guy. I gotta transfer this guy, these two guys over here. So they should just come up like that. And this guy should just come up like that. All right. Now this guy is going to go in like so. Well, my hand's in the way. I'm trying to. It's going to go there. And that's going to go right there. Now I'm going to put that retaining ring, and you got to be careful not to lose them, because they can pop out. Ooh. Just like that. Wheel. It broke. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know if y'all can see this little piece here, but that is what they call an external retaining ring that happens to hold. Let me put it down here. It broke, and it happens to go right here. See if I can get something that's a different color here. Happens to go right here. So no one's going to have that part. So I had to get creative, and I found this little bronze part from of all things, it is a air temperature control motor out of a Honda van, and this part basically spins the gear on the motor that opens and closes the vents, and eventually that whole thing goes bad. And I was in the garage, and I was looking at different things, and I looked at that motor and I saw that piece on it, and I'm like, hey, that might work. So I pulled it off, and it turned out, I tried it first on the part that I'm replacing up here, where my index finger is, up here, and that guy. And it went in there and it fit, and man, it was like real hard to get out. And I'm like, okay, I know it's going to work. So what I did is I ended up sanding it down, getting it thinner, and it's going to function. So it's either that or you call around to see if someone has this part. And I was looking on the internet, and the closest I could get to this was 3 millimeters, but this is a 2 millimeter wide shaft. This shaft right here, where it went onto. I'm not sure if y'all can see that right there. It's a 2 millimeter shaft, and the smallest retaining ring I could get was a 3 millimeter. So I knew I was going to have some issues. There's some other options I was going to have, is maybe do like a Whataburger card, cut a hole through the Whataburger card, shove it in there, and then put epoxy, some JB Weld on top, and that would work. Okay, that was my other fix. But I'm pretty sure this is going to work. Seems to, that's not going to come out. And the lid fits right on top of that. I mean, it fits just right on top of it. So if that thing gets loose, it's not going to come out undone. So anyway, that's how I fixed it. So now it's a matter of just putting this whole thing back together. So, alrighty, cool. Okay, so here are those motors I was talking about. Here's the gear right here. And then here's that little bronze thing that I pulled off. I don't know if you guys can see that. So I pulled it off with some pliers, and I just sanded it down with my finger. And that's how I got that little guy right there. It's perfect. Who would have thunk it? From a vent control part, from vent control part in a Honda Odyssey, and me keeping stuff like this around. All right. Alrighty, let's see if this will work. I'm gonna put all this back up. I've had a lot of response to the other video where people have had them taken to places to get repaired, and people, I guess the techs don't know how to repair them or something, I don't know, but you definitely got to take it to a tech, to an electronic technician who knows how to work on electronics, and to get it repaired. It's a great machine when they're working, you know. It's pretty. All right. Let's see if that's going to work there. Put this guy down here. One thing with screws, especially in aluminum, you always want to go back. You hear that snap? That means the threads have aligned. There you go. So now it should just go in real easy with no problems. Okay, excuse me. The instructions say that this has to be aligned, so I'm assuming we got to put this in right now. and it has to be aligned. We're so perfect. Ooh, that's pretty bright. So in other words, they want the same amount on the what do they call it? They call it the. Let me go to that page. Look at the. I think it's called the dog foot or something. Let me go to it. Get this out of the way. Oh, that light's real bright. Okay. So let me go to it real quick and see what. Here it is. Excuse me. So they're saying that it's got to be aligned perfectly, and I don't know how much. Let's see, screws, the dog foot, A. I guess it's aligned. Excuse me. Hey, hon?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to adjust. None of y'all can see this, but this is the, I believe it's a stitch plate. So they just want you to have almost the same space in between the plate and this, and then make sure the needle's going down the middle of that. And it does. It's like almost right down the middle. So yeah, it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. So I'm going to go with that. And so I'm tightening them cross pattern there. And then I won't put in the actual blade and all that. I'm not going to put it in till after we turn on the machine. And the motor brings it all the way over here, and then that's when I'll put it in. And then we should be good. Hopefully. So this guy basically goes up here. Goes up here. And goes into. Let's hope that we can get it in there. Okay, and there it is. Now it's just a matter of tightening those. I'll try and move the gears here. All right. So it's these two. Go in there, one there, one over here. Same thing with plastic. You know, you want to always go backwards and make sure in other words, go counterclockwise on the screw and make sure they line up with the with with the threads. Because if you don't, you're gonna strip the plastic threads, and then that's it. You're not gonna be very happy. And then you don't want to over tighten these, because if you break them, that's even worse. Then you have to order the whole part. And there it is. Okay. Okay, I'm going to move the gear here. Get it to go back to your right there. Just to go back over there. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, that's pretty tight. Just don't want those to come off or get loose. It's underneath, everything's good. That's good, all right. Okay. So what I'm going to do is there's some grease that was on this motor down here on one of the gears. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a Q-tip, or rather a toothpick, and I'm just going to take some and put it on the new gear underneath there. In other words, I'm going to try and get some grease on this guy that's underneath there, and then I'm putting this thing back together, and hopefully my wife can be sewing again tonight. Hope it all works. Okay, be back.